All right, the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. It's Weather for Weather Geeks here on Tuesday evening, the 14th day of August, 2018. Hard to believe August is almost halfway done. Pretty soon, we'll be talking about Canfield Fair weather coming up in a couple of weeks. School's going to be starting. Football season's right around the corner. It is just flying by. And, of course, summer of 2018 has been a warm one, and I wanted to talk about some of the numbers here at about the halfway mark of August. I've mentioned a few times on this video that we've had a lot of warm nights this summer, and actually that's kind of a long-term climate trend is warmer nights with temperature departures compared to average, perhaps even exceeding daytime highs. And the numbers do bear that out for the summer season so far. What I mean by that is compared to average, overnight lows have been warmer than daytime highs. Now, both are in the plus category. It's been a warm summer. But overnight lows have been about 3 degrees above the average so far this summer. Daytime highs a little over 2 degrees. So, you know, this is kind of a long-term climate trend here locally and across, much of the globe as well, with more water vapor in the atmosphere in our changing climate. Overnight low temperatures typically are warmer. With more water vapor in the air has a harder time radiating heat back out into space at night, and so temperatures tend to stay up, and we're seeing that locally, and again, that's a trend in many places. Now, as far as today's daytime high temperatures, it was a warm day today. Got into the mid-80s this afternoon, a few degrees above the average. East of here, though, notice all the blue dots. Clouds and cooler weather, and well, just what they needed, more rain, out across parts of the mid-Atlantic region up into New England. Over the last 24 hours, boy, has it been ugly. From eastern PA, from just east of Williamsport into the Poconos and then back up into the Elmira and Binghamton areas, Rochester. The Finger Lakes got slammed with heavy rain last night and this morning. Lots of dramatic video, and unfortunately some water rescues had to take place up across the southern tier of New York State. Now, our low pressure system is spinning now. It's finally on the move, but it's still spinning across parts of New York where the weather remains unsettled. Yesterday at this time, this thing was over here. So it has jogged to the east since last evening, and you can see that pretty easily on the water vapor loop this evening. There's our upper low pressure system that's detached from the main jet stream, so it typically doesn't have a good ride to kick it along. It missed its bus, in other words, and so it moves very slowly, if at all. Thankfully, though, we are finally starting to see some eastward progress with our upper low. If you look real carefully on the visible satellite this evening, and it's subtle because, you know, we're getting later in the evening and the sun is getting low in the sky and the satellite picture becomes less and less useful, the visible satellite picture. But if you look real carefully, you'll notice some haze. Especially you can see it if you look carefully Michigan into Ontario, but even into parts of Ohio. This is actually smoke. A ton of wildfires, of course, lately in the western U.S. and up into parts of Canada as well. And smoke has been traveling in the upper levels of the atmosphere across much of the country. Being impacted by the smoke from areas that are, you know, quite far away. And this should make for a somewhat colorful sunset across the region this evening. Now, the smoke is more noticeable off to our west, but even here, we might get a little bonus redness and orangeness with our sunset this evening, so that's something I'll be watching out for later on. Real quickly, while we have the visible satellite up, it's always cool to check out the visible satellite during the summer in the west. The clouds pop right over the mountains. You can easily pick out where the mountains are in the Rockies and out towards the west coast because the sun heats the ground surfaces, the ground heats the air over those mountains. Thunderstorms bubble up during the afternoon. It's a nearly daily occurrence at this time of the year. All right, here's our forecast for tomorrow. It's a toasty forecast, 87 tomorrow afternoon, 7 shy of the record of 94. No chances for rain tomorrow, and daylight, of course, getting shorter. Daytime hours getting shorter. We're at about 13 hours, 50 minutes worth of daylight here in mid-August. So it's not going to be a perfectly sunny day tomorrow. I do think there'll be a veil of high clouds around all day, making it kind of a milky sky at times, but we're not expecting any wet weather for Wednesday. Now, Thursday is a different deal. We've got a system approaching from the west, and even first thing in the morning, there could be a shower or a thunderstorm with our warm front. Air is going to be really humid in the wake of this front. A couple of real muggy days coming up Thursday and Friday, and a few chances for showers and storms. Be in the warm, humid air, and the atmosphere will certainly want to produce the occasional shower and storm on Thursday, and even into Friday. This front's going to take its time. Really won't roll through, I think, until late Friday into Friday night, hopefully getting far enough to the south that we can sound the all clear in terms of rain for the weekend. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center for Thursday has a low-end risk of severe weather in this darker green from roughly Route 30 on south. Wouldn't be surprised if they nudge this a little bit further to the north with tomorrow's update, but we'll be keeping an eye out on Thursday for a few heavy gusty storms. All right, weekend forecast. I've got a 20% chance of a residual shower storm Saturday, but I think Sunday is looking pretty good. Nice summer weekend overall. Temperatures lower 80s. Next week's pattern does not look hot east of the Rockies. In fact, a lot of cool anomalies seem very likely in the plain states. We're on the edge of that. I'm expecting a fairly seasonable week, but a little below average in terms of temperatures may be a possibility. This zonal flow will be replaced eventually by a more amplified flow across North America. And what I mean by that is you get a sharper ridge building out west, and then downstream of that you have more of a northwesterly flow and a pretty deep trough digging across New England. What this will do is guide some of the cooler air that usually sits up here down to the south and east, and yeah, it looks pretty comfortable here. Middle of next week, I think we might have a couple of days or a few days in a row where temperatures are mostly in the 70s next week. Not exactly crisp and autumnal, but better than 87 that we're going to have tomorrow, unless you want to jump in the pool. Maybe not great pool weather for a few days next week. All right, that's it for the Tuesday night Weather for Weather Geeks video. Thanks as always for watching and supporting this video. I'll have a full update on the TV side tonight on 21 News at 11, and have a great Tuesday night.